Ow.
I'd like to call our February 13th, 2012 study session to order. May I have roll call, please?
Mr. Thied.
Present.
Mrs. Buckley is excused. Mrs. Kraut.
Here.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Present.
Mr. Kudrick.
Present.
Mrs. Thunderberg.
Here.
Mrs. Beard's here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion. We approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Sure.
Moved by Mr. Kudrick, supported by Mrs. Kraut. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Next on the agenda is E-rate. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Weiss.
Thank you, Madam President. And I'm shortly going to turn it over to Andrew Piazza. Every year, we ask for board approval of items. We get a heavily discounted E-rate. And normally what the board approves is a maximum amount. We don't necessarily spend all that money, but if we have the money available to spend, since we haven't determined the budget for next year yet, if we have the money, that gives Andrew authorization to buy what he needs to buy. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Andrew, to explain to us.
This year we went and
Is it Michael?
Is your mic on there?
Okay.
this year we went to post for E-rate. We went to bid, and the winner was not Sentinel this time. Secant. Last year it was Sentinel, and this year it was Secant who won the bid. It is basically a phone and wireless technologies that we're replacing. It's the core systems, so that the phone system in itself is E-rateable. We get 82% off. And then the wireless system, the core system that does the user account control and the wireless access points, that's E-rateable. The only thing that we would have to pay with full district funds would be the actual phone handsets. And in the bid, we have the absolute cheapest handset that Cisco has available. And then when we want to submit this to E-rate like we did last year. Any questions?
Andrew,
Yeah.
this technology, obviously, it's the latest and greatest. Is this going to get rid of our problem that every time we get a cloud in Romulus, the phones go out?
I hope so, because this will be IP based. It seems like the phones are running on the old copper connections, especially with the PRIs. So what this will do is that there's the old phone network wired, and then there's the Ethernet wire that you plug into your computers into. And this will be running on that network, which is way more stable. Yes, it will, because also the internet, which we get free from Wayne Resell, it'll be hopping on that connection too. And so in the long run too, it'll save us a lot of money by going to voice over IP.
Now, is this going to be, I know this is through CCAT, so this will end our relationship with Suntel?
Yes, yes. That we will still have AT&T, but not through what's called a PRI connection. It'll be through a voice over IP connection. So we'll still have an AT&T bill, but it should be significantly less. And they'll then, CCAT will be managing the phone system, which really isn't a system anymore. It's just servers, and you just plug in the phone, and then you plug into the wall, and then you plug into the phone, and you plug into the desktop computer. Even acts as like a little mini switch. And so if there's any wiring problems, it's running on a much more robust Ethernet network than the old Category 3 system.
Well, I appreciate your work on this, because obviously by my comments, we've spent tens of thousands of dollars with Suntel, and I'm just not convinced that was good money.
They give us really good support, but what the big cost for them is that the Nortel Option 11 that we have is 1995 technology, and they've stopped making it. Stopped making an Option 11 about in 2005. So right now, the parts are getting more and more expensive because they're not making them anymore. They're refurbishing them, and eventually we'll get to the point where Suntel will be really searching for parts because they have a 4-hour response time. They need to replace it. That's what we're doing.
Are we talking this fiscal year, or is this for next year?
This would, if we ever get E-rate awarded, it wouldn't happen this summer, it would happen the following summer.
So 2013.
Yes.
I was thinking 14. but-
Yeah, because the one I did last year, which we still haven't been awarded yet with, through Sentinel, which, for the wireless and phones, and I don't think we will get our E-rate funding, that would have happened this summer, when I
Okay.
was here last year. For that, yeah,
And
it's
the amounts on this proposal, that's our amount, or our
No.
amount is about 20%?
20% of that.
Okay.
Yes, that's the thing, is that the federal government will pick up 82%, except for the actual phone handsets. And then, but when we post to E-rate, what we do is we actually sit there and we minus all the phone handsets, do the 82%, and then send it to, E-rate, and then they, approve it. But right now, this year, last year's one, doesn't look like it's gonna get approved, because, I think they're still sitting at 90% off. So the districts that qualify for 90% off, they're getting their phone systems and their switches, but I don't think it's gonna get any lower than that this year.
My only concern, Madam Chairman, is, committing to things when we haven't set a budget for next year yet. That's my only concern, but it's a good project and, deserves our attention.
And again, all you're committing to is a maximum amount. It still has to be budgeted, so in the event it's not budgeted for,
You're out.
that's just not budgeted.
We just don't do
for.
it.
Yeah, we can submit
Yeah.
it many times, and they can say, congratulations, you've won, and you can pass. You don't have to take it, yeah.
All right.
I had a couple of, so this is the hardware
Correct.
of the system?
Yeah, this is the core system. This is what they'll fund. So
Okay.
it's the phone system, the wireless controller, and the wireless access points. Fortunately, we already have a really nice, Ethernet network that's already wired, so we don't have to pay for that.
Okay. I did have one other question, about the tech plan
Mhm.
that's due when?
This,
Or
this July.
July?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay.
No, we're in process right now, and
Okay.
we're going through the revisions, and then I was going to send you an update after,
Okay.
later tomorrow.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Any other questions from
I just
board?
had a quick one. I think I know the answer, but I want to make sure. So this, converting to a system like this would mean if we lose internet access, our phones go down?
Correct.
Yeah, just like at home, yeah.
Yeah, but right now, if we lose internet, the district grinds to a halt,
Right.
and
No, I understand. I still think it's more reliable in the long run than what we're currently using. but-
the nice thing about this system is it's actually redundant. Like, there's, it's all server-based now. So when if a server locks up and fails, there's actually a backup server that will initiate, which we don't have that now. Everything is just these gigantic, like, cards. And when they burn out, that's it,
Right.
What's our backup plan for phone service if we lose phones?
Suntel and Nortel can still support our phone system, because the phones actually, if they sell it to the military, to get a DoD classification, they must support the current stuff for 10 years past end of life. So we're good right now until 2015, officially under
No, I mean,
Nortel's
if we
agreement.
switch to the VoIP.
Oh, what?
If we switch to the VoIP, what's our backup plan? If, God forbid, we lose internet service, what's our emergency backup plan so our buildings have access to phones?
Every building
LAN.
can back up to the analog lines.
Yeah.
So there will be one line, and then, actually 3 lines for every building. But they can actually do that while I'm working with the fiber people, getting an emergency splice
And
up.
our
and running.
alarms and things will be.
Yes, they
Yes.
actually run on those analog
Yeah, they
numbers.
always run on the dedicated
Yeah.
analogs. And
In case there's a fire, electricity, or whatever.
Yeah,
it
every
always goes
elementary
to-
has got 3 analog lines. The middle school, I believe, has 4, and the high school has,
10.
yeah, because like the fire panels in the separate areas that call out. So and the phone system will go on that backup system, so the phones will still work, but you're not going to have the 50 lines available.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Mr. Plaza.
Next item, this is Principals Recognition Week, and you have in your packet a resolution. Unfortunately, because of when we were notified, we would have asked you to pass a resolution at the last board meeting, but just want you to keep it be advised that it is principals recognition, so if you see a principal sometime this week, you might want to say a few kind words to them. They work hard, just like the rest of us, and we will have our own little internal recognition. We have an ad staff meeting this week, and we always do something nice for the principals during principal recognition week. Like everybody else, they're doing more with less, so, and we do appreciate them. So you'll have an official resolution to approve on the 27th.
Okay.
Next item, item 7, board study session. We had back in the fall, shortly after we converted to having one study session and one regular board meeting a month, I asked for a list of study topic agenda items. Danielle and I kind of had our own list. We wanted to make sure that everybody was included. And then we kind of allotted time each month to go through that. Because of all the happenings during the year, and probably shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, we haven't been able to stay on target with the months that we discuss things. So Danielle and I met last week just to review some of the original plans and make some adjustments. So items A through E would represent the revisions for what we'll be doing in study sessions. Board operating procedures is moved back to July. Basically what we had to do is prioritize some things that are either timely and maybe not timely at other times, and also some things that just have to get done due to certain timelines. So teacher evaluation updates and tenure recommendations was something that the board was interested in hearing more about. So stay tuned, that will be brought to your attention in March. Board policy review will be March and April. We have some deadlines, and as you all know, we have some significant policy revisions to make, and Anna's been busy preparing notebooks for all the board members, and I'll be going through those policies with my staff first to make sure that we have our act together before we begin our discussion with the board. And we may be able to wrap that up in March. It may be March and April. Strategic planning with MASB is something that we haven't really made a board decision about, and we'll bring it up for consideration in July. And then finally, and something we need to think about tonight, is the budget. All right, this is our first of a series of budget meetings. The last few years we've had several. It takes a few to get it right. The board did terrific work last year, and what I would like board members to consider are the following dates. We probably off the cuff should schedule 2 additional meetings for board budget discussions. So we can do this tonight if you like and identify the dates, or you can take these dates with you and Anna can email you at the end of the week. But I'm thinking this might not be that hard to do. I asked you to bring your calendars if you remembered. Is there anybody that would not be available on March 5th?
If it's early, I can do it, 'cause that's.
Oh, that's right, you mentioned, so if we started, about the earliest, I think would be, what, 5:15, Sandy?
I can usually be here by 5.
Any problems with 5 o'clock for that?
Nope.
Okay, so the 5th,
I'd have to leave by 6:30, though, that's the only thing.
okay.
These called special meetings or study sessions, or to be determined?
It's for the budget.
I think they were study sessions, we're not gonna pass
A
anything.
Study session.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking we probably ought to take a little break in between, because there may be some, some legwork to do in between these meetings. So maybe my suggestion would be to skip March 19th and go to April 2nd, if that works. Either the 2nd or the 16th of April.
This would be for the board policy review?
No, this would be for
Budget.
a budget study session. We already have the policy review scheduled at the regular
Do
meeting.
we meet the 9th?
Yeah, that's a,
Because that's during Easter break.
oh,
We're off.
no.
Ah.
Well, the schools